Mr. Robert Halfon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that it has taken me 10 years and 3 elections to reach this place, I feel a real privilege and sense of service in giving my maiden speech today. Although I am the first Halfon to serve as a Member of Parliament, I'm not the first to have a role in British politics. I understand that my ancestor, Isaac Halfon, who was an expert on divorce legalities, was called upon by King Henry VIII to discover the status of Judaic law regarding the King's proposed divorce from Catherine of Aragon. Fortunately for me, I'm told he gave the right answer. I'm reminded of the quotation of the Civil War poet Robert Herrick, who said, "Know when to speak, for many times it brings danger to give the best advice to kings." I hope I will remember this as I begin my career in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, Harlow is a unique place and a varied constituency. In less than 10 minutes, you can travel from Newtown to Leafy Village. It is thought that one of the first slaves buried in England, known as Hester, was laid to rest in 1767 in St Mary's Church, Little Parndon. I'm glad to say that the MPs who lived in West Essex at the time were contemporaries of William Wilberforce and fought alongside him for the abolition of slavery. Harlow has a long tradition of helping the most vulnerable, of being a thriving community and a place where social justice is first and foremost in the minds of its political representatives. Winston Churchill represented Harlow between 1924 and 1945 when it came under the Epping constituency. In 1923, in a speech in Victoria Hall in Old Harlow, he urged for the restoration of the penny postage and pensions for widows with children. Similarly, although I had many policy differences with Bill Rammell, my predecessor, there was never any doubt as to his absolute passion for Harlow and his determination to improve the lives of those most in need. Harlow as a new town was primarily built to provide decent homes and living space for those living in poor quality housing in East London. It has many beautiful places, most notably Parndon Mill, perhaps the most romantic spot in Essex. The town park, Harlow Common, the green wedges and our picturesque villages of Hastingwood, Matching Tye, Roydon, Nasing and Shearing are a testament to the green nature of my constituency, and I will always fight hard to preserve this. Like so many residents, I'm delighted that the government have said no to an extra runway at Stansted, with all the environmental damage this would have wrought. Nevertheless, despite our beautiful areas and original architecture, parts of Harlow are creaking with age. But there is a great feeling of optimism about the regeneration of the town, thanks to the work of Harlow Renaissance local councillors and the former MP. Some regeneration has already been completed, including a new leisure zone, soon to be opened, and the revamped water gardens. Anglia Ruskin University, which my partner Vanda attends as a mature student, is due to open a campus in Harlow next year. The regeneration will strengthen Harlow's rightful place in the pantheon of great new towns. But for the regeneration of Harlow to succeed, there are things that Harlow desperately needs. One of the most important is an extra bypass to the M11. Inexplicably, Harlow was built with just one entrance, with most of the industrial quarter being at the opposite end. As a result, traffic in Harlow has reached gridlock, with large lorries trundling along from one end of the town to another. If Harlow is to have a viable future, a bypass is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I mentioned a moment ago that one of the best tributes to my constituency is its strong community. I am a community conservative, so will always act to support and strengthen community organisations, even when financial resources are not readily available. To me, communities are the bedrock of our stability and are fundamental to our well-being. But there remain significant problems that we have to confront rather than sweep under the carpet. 1 in 8 adults in Harlow have literacy problems, and 1 in 5 have difficulties with numeracy. There is a skills deficit. In Essex, nearly 4,000 young people are not in employment, education or training. Harlow is one of the worst affected towns. I have come to the conclusion that education and skills are the real answer to these problems. But we must also transform the nature of vocational training and apprenticeships in our country. If you give young people the skills and training, you give them the opportunities and jobs for the future. And expanding and improving apprenticeships is not just about economic efficiency based on pure utilitarianism. It's a profoundly conservative idea of helping people to help themselves, of a work ethic, of opportunity, and most importantly, social justice. And I've seen for myself the power of apprenticeships to transform lives. I've seen John Tennyson, Managing Director of Smith's Aircraft Industries in Harlow, who started as an apprentice there over 30 years ago. I've seen the Construction Training Partnership, which helps youngsters supported by the youth offending teams to train in building electricals and plumbing and gives them the chance to succeed. I've seen Harlow College and was delighted to visit the Essex Apprenticeships scheme there with my right honourable friend for Chingford and Woodford Green. It is no accident that our college is climbing so high up the league tables with its aim of being one of the best in England. Our policy of 100,000 extra apprenticeships every year is something to be proud of. But we must do more, particularly in reducing red tape and regulation and giving better incentives to businesses. Above all, we need a root and branch cultural change in our country. Winning an apprenticeship should be as highly regarded as getting to Cambridge University, or any university for that matter. Apprenticeships should be held in the same regard by teachers in secondary schools as higher education. And yet all the evidence shows the opposite. The apprenticeship organisation Edge says that 2/3 of teachers regard their knowledge of apprenticeships as poor, and just 1 in 4 teachers believe that apprenticeships are a good alternative to A-levels. As an MP, I intend to play my part in changing the way we see and regard apprentices. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I began my maiden speech with a story of a monarch, so I hope you will forgive me for ending with another. Queen Elizabeth I was a great fan of Harlow, having visited on a number of occasions. It is well known that her chief adviser, Lord Burleigh, suffered from the most tremendous gout and was concerned about his service to his queen, to which the monarch replied, "My lord, we make use of you not for your bad legs, but for your good head." Mr. Deputy Speaker, I have good news for you and this chamber. I don't suffer from gout. But I have the heart and stomach to fight hard in this House for Harlow and for our country. Yeah.